What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here. I'm bringing you guys the deck profile that I've been um, utilizing, or at least the deck that I've been utilizing for the past several weeks now for a lot of my main events. And that's Golden Frieza, Yellow Green. I guess it's called like Lemon Lime or whatever. But I decided to play this deck after the regionals. I was running Red, Blue, Vegeta for a while, as you guys will see in like my previous vlogs and stuff. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I wanted to try out a different leader. Obviously, you guys who know, from the Pansy event or the Panini card game, Frieza was pretty much my favorite character. I made like 5, 6 different iteration styles of him in my decks. So he's surprisingly wasn't the first leader that I chose in this game, but I wanted to go this leader because I think it was having a lot of hype as of late, and you can see a lot of people running this kind of deck as of late too, but more so the blue yellow version, which I think was a little bit more consistent. But I wanted to switch it up a little bit and play the green version because I like Kale, I like Gotenks, and some of the green cards and everything. So mix it up and ran it a couple events. The first locals that I did run was the blue-yellow version, and I went undefeated. And then the second locals I started running the green-yellow version, and I was undefeated with 1 tie. So it was pretty good. It was a good sign that this deck was performing well. And after several events, I kept changing it. Actually, after every single time I played, there's at least a couple cards that I switched here and there. So there's a lot of optimizing and finalizing which cards I felt like were more prone to this meta and everything. So, I think I got the right kind of chemistry with cards in this after all these events. I did a lot of playtesting too, and there are very few times that I lost against my buddies. So, again, I was very confident with this. I took this to one of our shop tournaments in South Milwaukee. We had like 4 rounds or something like that, so I went 2-2, managed to squeeze in the top 8. I beat that guy in the first round of top 8, and then unfortunately I had a drop because that tournament was running a lot longer than I thought it would, and I should have been home an hour prior to where I was at. So I dropped. So I finished with top 4. I ended up getting still like the sleeves and everything and an extra 3 packs. Then a week later, I went to another shop tournament down in Old Orchard Mall, which you guys will see also after this vlog. And I managed to get second place. There's only 5 players there, so I mean I'm not gonna take that win as like a serious accomplishment or anything like that. But it is a nice little printed plaque. It's something cheesy that they did, but I mean the quality is like really, really good. But I'd prefer this going towards some other type of prizing, but I guess can't really complain that much. Bandai, I think in general has done a great job overall in terms of product, advertisement, especially, and just the overall, mechanics and listening to the player base as a whole. So can't really complain on that. I just think it's funny about these little trophies and stuff. But anyways, it was a good event. I went 2-1 in there. That I lost to Soul Striker Goku. I wasn't able to beat him late game, which of course if you let him to go late game, then the more likely he'll be able to put out all these threats and stuff. But it was an interesting match because we were going back and forth with the green cards, popping each other's Kales, Gotenks, and all that stuff. So it was a very interesting match. Got him down to 3 life, and I didn't have any negates at the end. But anyways, this deck is I'm gonna probably retire this after today. It's had several weeks of playtesting, maybe about 3 weeks of events and stuff. So I'm very happy with the performance and kind of what I learned throughout the deck. So anyways, enough of me talking. I know you guys know that I talk a lot. So we got Golden Frieza right over here. On his flip side, on his main side, you can place one of your Frieza Army battle cards in the drop area, choose up to one of your energies, switch into active mode, then draw a card. Amazing. You have several targets for Frieza's Army. Pop it when you need to, and then draw a card after that. You're basically cycling through your deck and stuff. On the other side, it's pretty much the same thing. You pop a Frieza's Army, except you ready up 2 energies, switch them to active mode, and then you draw a card. And then, of course, the typical attack and draw a card. So he does get a lot of card advantage. So he's similar to uh, like the Starku and stuff, but you just gotta pitch your board and stuff. So it can be good. It depends on how you play it. You know, you could pop like your 4-drop Mecha Frieza attack with it, and then pop it again to ready up 2 energy and all that stuff. So he's a very solid leader, and of course Cold Bloodlust, one of the reasons why you're playing him. So all right, let's go with the deck profile. Let's go with the extra cards. So I ran first 4 full power energies. This is basically your main negate. Then you get to pop an opponent's 1 or less. This is good because you know, if you're playing as blue, people are always running like Bulmas and Boos, so you could get that cheap, you know, negate, kill, and your opponent can't combo with it. So I like that a lot. One of the better negates, aside from, of course, Whis Corrosion. 4 Cold Bloodlust. Can't speak enough about that card. I mean, even with the timing window and the red and stuff, it really didn't affect that much. It's still amazing. You know, being able to negate like Go Tanks or any like you know, of course, like the red Go Tanks, like, and any of that stuff is still really powerful. And then I only ran 2 Sun Gotenks Family of Justice. I have another one in my sideboard, but this came in handy against like those free 10k 3 drops and stuff, 3 cost, whatever, that come into play with 1 mana. Those you could easily pop them back, and any annoying 3 drop like the Gohan that draws for red. Onto the battle cards, we ran the Avenging Frieza, obviously package. During the tournaments, I was a beast in the like drawing and hitting all these cards. So I would Avenging Frieza, pop him to ready up the energy, draw another Avenging Frieza, and then hitting like something else. You know, being able to hit any Frieza's army. Because basically when you put him in play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 Frieza's army among them, with energy cost 2 or less, and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So I would get this. The other targets, of course, Goldo. He's great against you know, the 2-drop rest effect. Sorbet, and believe it or not, I would get a lot of Dodorias for my draws. He's another Frieza army, so being able to get your 10Ks early, it really puts a lot of, you know, pressure on your opponent, because they know you're holding on to those 10Ks and they're probably counting how many you got. But regardless of that, like being able to tutor that out with Avenging Frieza, you know, you have those targets, is really powerful, which makes one of this deck really consistent. 2 drops for Bundle of Curiosity Son Gokus. This is your Majin Buu. This is your draw. Nice and simple. With this kind of deck, it could cost like a Buu, because you could pop your own Frieza's army, ready up an energy, so it really only cost 1, essentially. But yeah, Son Goku, very powerful in the draw category. These 10k droppers, I felt like 4 was just a little too cloggy. Not that it's bad to have, you know, free drops like that. I just felt like there's you know, room for other tech or more I don't know, just important cards. So yeah, this always came in handy. I mean, being able to block on defense, put him in play. Next is 2 Ready to Strike Piccolo. This is really like a tech of mine. I felt like this card was very underrated, and overshadowed just because there's a lot of you know, other cards that get in the way, especially in green, like Go Tanks. But this card is amazing because it's like a hand control in a way. Auto at the end of your opponent's turn, they choose cards from their hand until there are only 6, and then they place them in the drop area. So if your opponent just taking damage, drawing, awakening, and they're not able to get this card out with like like a Go Tanks or any other way to like pop a blocker, they're gonna drop their hand. So it's happened a couple times in my matches where my opponent would have maybe 8 or 9 cards, which sure may not be a lot, but when you're having like a 5-card hand versus like an 8-card hand, you know, that's a big difference in this game. It prevents you a lot from attacking or being, you know, making mistakes in here, stuff here or there. So being able to have him on the field for my opponent to kind of think about and kind of waste resources to try to get rid of him, I think is definitely worth it. I do run an extra one on my side deck, which I'll show you, that packages with Trunks. But I think he's definitely worth it. He's another blocker, and your opponent can't really pop this with like Mass Saiyan and stuff. So they really have to get to like Kale or Jiren or something like that beforehand. But will they be able to get that there before you? Who knows? Especially if you go early and you drop this on turn 3 and they're not able to hit those higher turns to kill this. It's really good. Next, obvious 4-drop Kales. I mean, these are one of the top cards in the game, probably the top 5 cards in the game. Critical. She can pop one of your like measly 1-drops or whatever, and then pops another one of your opponents, and then you draw a card if you have 5 or less in your hand. So I mean, this is very powerful, staple in any green deck. Another card that was extremely over performed, which was Mecha Frieza. There weren't too many yellow decks, I guess, in my metas that I was playing. It was mostly like a lot of blues, reds, and greens. So I wasn't afraid of this guy being bloodlusted or anything like that. So he came in handy. Like when my opponent was just swinging all in with like Go Tanks and Kale or Jiren, Kaba, and all that stuff, or their powerful cards. This definitely saved my butt. And having your opponent have 2 rested key battle cards, and popping them just for discarding card is too strong. And on top of that, he has dual strike and double attack, or dual attack and double strike. So I mean, it's underpowered 4-drop, but the effect makes up for it. And that's why I maximize these at 4, because he comes in clutch so much. He's saved a lot of my games, and I think before I was running max 3, so I just added a 4th one just for consistency, because I mean he's just so strong. He's just really powerful, and he could just swing games for you. Another powerful card, 3 5-drop Super Saiyan Gotenks. No question about this guy. I mean, he's readies up your energy, so you could drop higher threats of Frieza on the other side. He could untap, and then you could just. I've sent like 3 different guys in one turn just because of this guy right here. Just untapping 2, or playing 1, untapping 2 for the Frieza army. Playing this guy, untapping another 2 and stuff, and then just sending out beaters and everything. So this is really powerful. And then as a backup closer, I ran 2 full power Friezas. He was okay. He was on and off. He was very 50-50. Some games didn't last till turn 6, and some games, I never really saw him. But when I did, I would really throw my opponent off. In my top 8 match at the shop tournament in South Milwaukee, this won one of my games. He was at 3 life. I had like 7 energy, I think. I deployed like Mass Saiyan, double strike, so he negated that one. And then I attacked with my Golden Frieza. He stopped that one in the combo, and then I played full power Frieza for 3 for a triple strike, and he wasn't able to defend that one. So it was a very clutch card also, and I think it's another powerful. I mean, it was a blocker, 25k. If you're able to bring him out, your opponent's gonna have a hard time. And then the 2 Overwhelm cards that I run, I could run one more, but I thought, this is fine enough. I could run Trunks, but I felt like, this deck was very solid enough. 2 Mass Saiyan. This card, probably one of the best Overwhelm cards in the game, even with the new set 3 coming out. I mean, this being able to pop, a total of 5 cost or less, non-blockers, and then, sending them to the Overwhelm. And having a double strike, like you could just get this like on turn 3, 4, get rid of like a lot of their threats. It's amazing. One, I think at the shop tournament in Old Orchard, which I did lose to, but it was very close. He had a Go Tanks, Kale, that were both rested, so I played Mecha Frieza. I knocked those 2 out, and then he had I think the turn 4 Trunks that makes everybody blocker, turn 5 Trunks, and then I played Mass Saiyan, and then I popped that one, or not, yeah, something like that, or some mix of combo, something like that, and it was able to go through. So yeah, double strike. He's another cleaner, and I think he's one of the best Overwhelm cards. Onto my sideboard. I used it a little bit depending on the matchup. I ran 3 Crusher Balls if I was going against like stuff like Rush, like Super Aggro Rush, maybe like Mono Blue Vegeta or Vegeta Red Blue. It would just stop them from just attacking like Jirens and stuff. 3 King Vegeta surprise attacks. This is if I feel like my opponent doesn't have too many answers to board and stuff, or if I don't have any answers to board enough. This is the counter revenge card, which is really nice. 3 Furious Yellow Vegetas. Basically run this if my opponent's stalling. They're running like a slow deck. They're not trying to awaken me or something like that. Pop him. He has double strike, and he could add a life and stuff. Next is 2 fully trained Super Saiyan Gohan and 1 Ready Strike Piccolo. I would basically save this against like the hand destruction deck, so that I could at least mirror their hand. Because being able to drop this auto, when you play this card, you choose 1 Piccolo, with energy cost 2 or less from your deck and play it. Sorry, 3 or less, and then play it and then shuffle your deck. So you drop that, search out for Piccolo, and then at the end of their turn, hopefully, if Piccolo is still alive, they have to drop their hand of 6. So something like that, or somebody who draws like aggressively, I would try to switch that out. 2 bad ring lasers, just to counter something to go through if I need it, and then 1 more go 10. Just to feel like my opponent's maximizing on those 3 drops that come in for free, pretty much, or any threat that I see that's early, like the 2 cost, technically 3 cost, but Vegeta, if you have your energies that are all blue, it comes out on turn 2, so stuff like that. But yeah, overall, it was the past couple weeks have been really well for me. I learned a lot through the regionals. Again, I went 4-4 that day, so I was really encouraged to kind of get a little more serious in the game and try to learn more of the aspects, and taking my time breaking down the decks and how people play and what people play. So I think that's been working well for me. I just need to focus more on the meta decks, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and subscribing and all that. And I appreciate everybody who's new to the channel and those who have been around for several years. Everybody knows I love card games and video games, so thank you guys so much for the support. I'll be bringing you guys more deck profiles in the future. Set 3 is coming out, which I'm really excited. That whole set, I think, is going to change the landscape of things, and I wish I was able to go to some regionals once that releases and everything. But other than that, I'm good with where I'm at. I'm excited to see where Bandai takes this game, and I'm happy with what ARG has been doing for the past year or so for the support. So if you guys appreciate this video, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for all this, and see y'all soon. Peace out, guys.